It's never too early to start inspiring our future problem solvers. Our guest today is a self-published children's book author who's on a mission to empower young minds. She believes in the power of fun, learning, and critical thinking to build self-confidence in children. Let's welcome children's book author and confidence coach. We have Ciara Cheriese. Ciara, thanks for joining us.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So I wanted to ask you right off the bat, tell us what the role of a confidence coach entails.
Yeah, so essentially what I started figuring out is that kids need to have this supplemental process of us just kind of relating to them with like affirmations, mantras, helping to fortify their confidence, because a lot of times they're kind of in this I can't do it mode, or this is too hard. So through osmosis, I kind of came up with this concept through like traditional processes of, well, let's just make sure they know that they're capable and confident and able to do this. So depending on the age group, I'll say something as simple as like, I'm amazing, I'm wonderful. And I just want to reinforce that mindset. So then that way, when things get a little bit tough, they know they have the skill set to take on those challenges.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that you're teaching kids those mantras early on, because some of us are learning it as an adult, so doing it as a child, it's fantastic. So how do your students typically see improvements after engaging with your services?
So the biggest thing is them just feeling confident in asserting their autonomy, which they usually don't need very much help with in their regular life, but in their school life. So for example, one of my students is starting to have this internal drive, this internal push after us working together for about 7 or 8 months. So I'll kind of say like, oh, do you want to, well, we still have a couple more problems. Do you want to leave these or you want to keep going? And then he'll say like, no, I want to finish. And that's what I'm looking for. The confidence to have that internal drive kick in and be able to get her done.
Oh, I like that. And could you describe the characteristics of the students you work with, and what's the profile of your ideal student when you're working with them?
So typically, my ideal student is any student. The main thing is just that that student and I are going to be able to build rapport and that they're going to trust me. So that's one of the most important things that I do early on, is make sure that that rapport is built. And then that way they will allow me to guide them. And I say, sometimes I'm going to ask you to do some things you don't want to do. But because that rapport has been built, then they'll say, okay, I'll go ahead and try it.
Right. You have that trust with them,
Yes,
which is important.
Exactly.
How many years of experience do you have in the field of confidence coaching?
So I would definitely say this term I'm coining. And so it's been something I've been doing for most of my life and didn't even realize it. But in the educational field, definitely 20 plus years.
Wow, okay. So talking about kids, parents often have high hopes for their children's development. What kind of outcomes can they realistically expect from your coaching?
Yeah, so again, that internal drive being turned on, them starting to quote me and say, Miss Kiki said such and such. So they're taking it all in and they're learning. They will see things in their student, aka their child, firsthand. But then what ends up happening is the other people, that the other instructors, educators that their kids are in contact with, end up saying, I've noticed that their vocabulary is going up. I've noticed their writing skills are going up. I'm noticing, and again, this is all based on their internal drive and their desire to want to do better for them. Because that's the most important thing that I try to instill in my students, is that this is for you.
Okay, and we're curious about how you track your effectiveness. Could you tell us about the system or methods you use to measure your success rate?
So everything is individualized. So I just kind of create this rubrics for that particular student. And I kind of say, this is where we want to go. There's a lot of external input that comes into play because they are in traditional school. So their teachers will say, like, we need their typing to get better. We need their handwriting to get better. So there's some fundamental things that we're doing, but the confidence is still helping with that, because now they're not going to, oh, I don't know how to do this. Now they're saying, oh, they're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and they're having more confidence in their abilities to execute these objectives.
All right, so for those who are interested, what is their best way to get a hold of you and get more information?
Right now, the best way to get in touch with me is through email. And I think you guys are going to have that up on the screen.
Yeah, tell us the email.
So it's misscoachkiki@gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, Miss Coach Kiki, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and you can find the writings of Ciara Cheriese on Amazon.com as well.